So in my opinion, I'm always being accused, rather unfairly, of watching too much YouTube. But then I started compiling a list of the channels, predominantly van life channels that I watch, and it's quite extensive. It really is quite extensive. So perhaps Bronnie is right and I do watch too much YouTube. But hey, in my opinion, it's better than the TV. So I wanted to share some of the channels that I watch with you. Now, I'm not so naive to think that if you watch my channel that you don't watch the others, because they're all, well, majority are bigger channels than mine. So if I'm watching them, I'm sure that you're watching them too. But there might be one or two gems that you're missing out on. So here's my list. Now, it is quite an extensive list. So while the intro music is playing, I suggest you put the kettle on. So I've got my list, and as I said in the intro, it is quite extensive. Having said that, I don't know if you've ever experienced this at Christmas, but you've done all your cards, you've sent them off, and then you get a card through the door and you think, oh, holy hell, I've not sent them a card. So I am bound to forget some of the channels. So if you're one of those channels, I probably do watch you and enjoy your channels, but I've just forgotten to put you on the list. Please don't take offense by that. I'm sure there'll be quite a few. If there are some that I have missed, and as I said, I may well be watching them, but if you think I've missed some that you think that I should be watching, please put them down in the comments, because as I said, I'm an avid YouTube watcher. Now, the list itself is in no particular order, okay? There's no preferences, except one, I think. Now, I know I don't have two children, so I can't say this from my own heart, but I do know that most parents will always say that they don't have a favourite child, that all children are equal. And that's the truth with my YouTube channels, except for this one. I'll leave that until last, though. Hopefully to encourage you to stay to the end of the list. But I think it's, in my opinion, well worth waiting for. Now, the first one on the list is Jits Into the Sunset, as JITS Into the Sunset. Great channel. They did I started watching them when I actually was looking for videos on the North Atlantic Way, or the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland, and I came across this channel, and then I've continued to follow them. They're again traveling. Now, one of the things with YouTube at the moment, I think it's also been affected, in particular van life, because it's been affected by COVID. People aren't traveling as much, so they can't share as much, but most of these channels will be the same. But remember that you can always, if you haven't seen them before, go back in their library, have a little look, and this is for all the channels, not just Jits Into the Sunset. Go and have a look at their library, see if it's of interest to you, and if it is, do subscribe and ring the bell so you know that when their next videos are coming out, because it may be tomorrow, it may be next week. In this climate, current climate, you know, who knows? One of my favourites, no, I'm not allowed favourites. Okay, the next one is One Man and His Whippet. Any channel that can score chips has to be a winner. Has to be a winner. And not only that, he's got his dog Louie on the channel as well. Louie, of course, is the star, but it's a great channel. It's chatty, it's sometimes informative with tech reviews. Not in-depth tech reviews, I don't think. Dave tends to be much more this may interest you, but he's also very informative about where he's going and what he's doing. Now, I think he's got a lot going on in his life at the moment. I think he's moving home and he's having the van redone, so expect some really good videos coming up from him. The next one is a couple, John and Mandy on tour. They have sold their home. They are now living full time, so they were like everybody else. Well, I guess everybody starts as a weekend warrior, but they were weekend warriors, similar to myself. They're now living in the van full time. As I say, sold up. John manages to work from the van. He works remotely, and Mandy feeds him. Now they do have a second channel as well, Gadget John. Okay, which is much more, he's sort of tried to separate the two now. One is vlogging and with John and Mandy, and it's about their life and about tours and meeting other van lifers. A general good vlog, you know. There's a little bit of cooking in there, there's a little bit of dog life in there, you know, not dogging, dog life. But the Gadget channel tends to be much more the tech reviews, and John is really good at explaining tech, very good indeed. I have to admit that when I watch his gadget videos, I understand every word he says, but then I have to watch it 3 or 4 times, because by the time I've walked to the van I've forgotten what he said, because he can comprehend things a lot better than I can. During the van build, I watched a lot of Greg Virgo. Now, Greg is an engineer. He is very good at what he does. I haven't followed the style of van that he's built. His is much more contemporary. But having said that, his building skills are something I've followed since day one. I referred to him and to many other channels as well, about the build process. So if you are in the process of building a van yourself, go back and look at his library as well. So that those two can work in conjunction actually. Gadget John's channel for the tech, and Greg Virgo's for the build. There's also another one called Mel's Van World, also on the build process. They're all good to watch if you are just in the middle of or starting or even thinking about building your van, because it'll give you an idea of where you're going or where you want to go. Yeah, this is a massive channel. Okay, started watching these when they were down in South America and they were traveling up to Alaska. They're now traveling around the world. They're trying to drive to Australia, but again they've been flummoxed by the whole COVID situation. Fantastic quality in the production of their videos, absolutely marvellous. They do work very hard at what they do. Always interesting, and they treat their vlogs very much as a story. Very good, great storytellers. So that's combilife. Links to all of these channels will be in the description so that you can just perhaps follow along. The next guy is a guy called Luke. Luke's Vanlife. Luke loves to chat. He loves to just sit in his van and chat. He does share his life with us. He does share we see his parents, his grandparents, his daughter, his sister, his wife. We see those things, but he does love to sit in a van and chat. Now that's my cup of tea. Every time Luke's videos come on, I put the kettle on, get some biscuits, get ready for a chin wag. So that's Luke's Van Life. Now there's a bit of a trend going on at the moment. So the next 3 people I'm going to mention actually have all gone down this route. And they're all massive channels, so I'm sure that you are probably already watching them. The first one, a young couple from Canada called Eamon and Beck. They had started to travel in Europe. They were in Morocco, and they've had to leave their van there and fly back to Canada. They did another van whilst there, so we watched the second build with them. So if you go back in their libraries, you can watch two lots of builds. The second build is showing all the stuff that they didn't think was quite right in the first van, so that's quite fascinating. Trent and Ali, another couple, and I'll come back to those in a second, and also the indie project, massive, all massive, those three massive channels. Now the reason I mentioned those three, at the moment, all three of those tend to be, Eamon and Beck just announced that they're looking to buy a cabin in the woods. Trent and Ali they are building a house at the moment, and the indie projects, they're restoring a barn into a family home down in Portugal. So there's a lot of building videos going on at the moment. Now I don't think any of them have abandoned van life, but what I do think is that it's fascinating that during this whole COVID thing where travel is restricted, they've turned their hand to something else and they're sharing that with us too. So that's always a good thing. A Welshman stuck at the moment, Kite Van Man. Okay, he and his dog have been travelling for a couple of years now, good few years. A younger man travels alone, although from time to time he seems to have female company. Great personality. Again, he's stuck in one place at the moment, so it's very difficult, and I feel sure, for him to vlog, because at the end of the day he's not travelling and showing everything new. Everything seems to be the same for him, not for us. He still does bring his own personality to the vlog, and again, it's a sort of a good character to have as a watch. A couple more towards my age, not quite my age, but more towards my age, and they're travelling around the world. Now, there's a channel called Tread the Globe. Tread the Globe are stuck in Turkey. Okay, again, there's a recurring theme, COVID. Okay, so what they've done is they've almost used it to their advantage, really. Because they're stuck in Turkey and they can't travel freely, the whole idea is to travel around the world, obviously. But because they're stuck there at the moment, what they've done is, rather than rest on their laurels, they have just done a complete series now, almost, of Turkey, showing everything from monasteries to beaches to daily life to the difficulties with dealing with a foreign language with officials and things like that. Really good channel, enjoy them tremendously. The next couple, they're down in Spain, possibly Portugal at the moment, and their videos are fantastic quality, really well produced. They are a young couple who are, how can I describe them? They're a little bit of madness with a big dollop of honey. You know, you just gotta love them. This is a couple that you would love to just have a barbecue, maybe have a few drinks with, and watch the sunset with. You'd have a really good laugh. They are called the Exp Expos. I'll put that up on the screen as usual. Expos, EXPAWERS. Great channel. Great channel. Again, daily life of a van life. Well worth a watch. The next couple, Flora and the Novice Explorers. Now, they've done a great series of their travels through Europe. Fantastic series. They're back in the UK at the moment. I believe that they are trying to replenish their bank accounts, as we all have to do from time to time. So again, travels slightly restricted, but I don't think it'll be long before they hit the road again and they go on their next adventure. So have a look back, if you haven't watched them before, have a look back at their series going through Europe. It's really good. And then again, ring that bell and subscribe to their channel. You're going to have fun with those two. A young couple, I've only just started watching. I found these when I was doing the swivel seat. I put in swivel seats for vans onto YouTube, and this young couple come up. They're called freedomstrider. They do really quite in-depth videos of their build. They're building at the moment. They're going through step by step. They've got a little bit of a library going on already, and I'm sure more will come along. But they do things well. They do things well, but they also explain well, and they also show exactly what they did and how they did it. Right, the next couple are doing quite a lot of van tours at the moment. I think there's two things that are going on with this channel. One, they have done fantastic travel vlogs in the past, but two things going on. One, COVID, and secondly, there's a pregnancy going on. So we're all waiting for the, I don't know what it is, the young bus or the young beyond to arrive on the scene. But that can't be far away now, I don't think, before they have the baby. So of course that's restricted their travel movements at the moment. But it doesn't seem to have slowed them down. They do great tours of vans. The last one, you know, it's a van I could never afford. But again, well worth looking at. And if you're into the travel side of things, go back into their library because there's plenty there to be seen. The next two aren't vanlifers, but I thoroughly enjoy. In fact, I'll say in the next three. But I thoroughly enjoy their videos. The first one is a guy called Sean Tucker. He's a photographer. Now, he's very good at the photography, but he's absolutely wonderful at philosophy. If you go back into his videos and pick out the ones where he's talking about life rather than photography, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He was in the church. He left the church for his own reasons. He made photography his business, but he's a very calm, collected, well thought out young man. Well thought out. Sean Tucker. Now another photographer, I love it because of all the pizzazz and all the production value, Peter McKenna. Fantastic photographer, I'm sure, but you know what, his videos are great. They're just full of beans and they're full of life, and there's so much going on. You never know quite what to expect with him. And then the third one in that, of course, is Casey Neistat. I noticed that Casey Neistat has started daily vlogging again. Now, it's not his New York life. He's living out in LA. Things have changed. The pace has changed on the videos, I've noticed. But great to see him back on the screens. Somebody that is travelling at the moment and putting out a series of videos, they've gone through Germany, he's now in Hungary, is Tube Darren. He's been virtually every day putting up a video of his little travels. They're not long videos, they're great, they're bite-sized chunks of his day, and he's doing a great job. So he's travelling alone at the moment. But again, he's got a library of where he was in the past, and I think that's a channel that will grow. The next one, she is not a van lifer, she's a motorbiker. But is really quite travel orientated, and she's really good. It's a channel called Itchyboots, and I think it's German or Swedish. She's not British, but like a lot of the foreigners. In fact, there's another foreign channel called Vantastic. They are a van channel. It amazes me how well people from Europe can pick up English, and yet we Brits, we're not very good at foreign languages. Well, I'm not. But Itchyboots are fantastic. Two good channels. This young couple, a wife and wife, called Campervibe. I don't know where to start with Campervibe. They're fab. They're just fantastic. I love them to bits. They finished their build now, so go back if you're interested in the van build side of it. Go back in their videos. They're just about to go off on their travels. I just love the bickering that goes on. I just love it. I think it's so funny, and I think that they just come across as, you know, just people you'd want around for dinner. Next one, another young couple. They've started their build, called Max and Sophie, a fairly new channel. Absolutely excellent. They're working hard, you know, it's fun to watch. It's nice to see a young couple having a go. Nothing seems to daunt them. They're just getting on with it. The next one, an Italian couple, ellieawe, Leave Everything and Wander. At the moment, they're doing a series on Italy. They're Italians doing a series on Italy because of the whole restriction again. I don't know how many times I've got to mention COVID during this video, but if you watch them, they're doing a series on Italy at the moment, but they're travel vloggers, okay, that live in a van. A British couple called Dub Ventures, lively, out there, in a VW transporter. They do camping, they like going out to meets, they will do some little reviews on some of the stuff they're doing with the van. Another good all-round channel to keep your eye on. Mel's Van World, I think I've mentioned him. Life Beyond Bricks, again another young British couple. There's a lot of British couples here. I think Britain's doing quite well in my book here. Another young couple who are just experienced life in the van. They have sort of captured my heart a little bit because, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, they're just so normal. They're so like, oh yeah, it's Bob and Bert from next door. You know, it's nice to see. And then finally for this video, I did say, you know, at the very beginning that you're not supposed to have favourites, but I do, and this is my absolute favourite for a good few reasons. They are extremely entertaining. They work extremely hard at producing what they produce. They have their video channel, but they also have a podcast. They're Welsh, always a benefit in my eyes. It's not everything is about van life, although the last series I guess was about rebuilding their van. The series before that was a trip around Europe in the van. The series before that was, I guess they're called series, are they? But the series before that was getting the van ready for the first trip. And before that, they've done the Mongol Rally, where they took a tiny little car from here to Russia or somewhere. And that is a wonderful series to watch. They bought a rickshaw in India and travelled across India in a rickshaw. They are a young couple called Kinging It. KING-IT. Kinging It. Yeah, I watch them all day long, absolutely all day long. So, not allowed to have favourites, but Kinging It win the biscuit for me. They get the award, which is a little candle. That's my list for now. Do you know what? I'm going to stop the video and think, oh, I didn't mention this, I didn't mention that, I didn't mention the other, because as I said earlier, I probably do watch too much YouTube, in other people's opinion. Okay, until the next time, remember to play nicely and share all your toys.